Launch Director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
Yo, what up? Welcome back. JMC is here. Episode 67 has arrived, and my name is Felix. Felix C. Arroyo. C is for Christopher, but only my mother calls me that. Please don't get it twisted. I'm just messing. No, but seriously. Anyway, how are you doing? How's your week been? What's going on in everybody's life? Don't be scared to send me a message. Drop a comment in the feed when you see me on the socials. Like I said, I'm venturing back in the Twitter world, but TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube, I guess, the way they're doing it, they're creating that as a platform to post comments and whatnot and interact with people on a social media level. So anyway, the point is that these podcasts that you're watching, that you're listening to, it's only half of the experience. I'm also posting deeper insight into the interview that I have with that week's guest. So feel free to follow along and let me know what you think. But anyway, let's get right into it, because this conversation I have for you with my man Los Def, who happens to have a podcast of his own. The podcast is called 280 Plus, and 280 Plus is in regards to the Twitter count, the character count. You only got 280 characters, 280 plus. I like that. It used to be $140 back in my old Twitter days. It never really was quite enough, so they bumped it up to 280. Now, Los Def had this energy, this fire, this desire to shoot the shit on Twitter and engage with people and what was going on in pop culture. Give or take, whatever it is we're talking about, sports, music, fashion, whatever it is, whatever is hot, whatever is trending topic-wise, he wanted to engage in conversation, and he decided that he was done really trying to push that through social media, and let me just start a podcast. It's a dope platform. It's a dope concept, and we actually started following each other on Instagram, and I think he commented on one of my posts and was like, I'd like to be a guest, and I said, fuck it, let's do it. And eventually I'll be on his podcast as well. The cool thing that I appreciated about this interview with Los Def was we share a lot of common stories, like how we go about our process and stuff. And there's also some things that are different, but it was the first time I got to speak about some things that I do, or some things that I like or don't like about this game that we're playing here, but the podcast. And to bounce these ideas off of somebody else, or these topics of conversation with somebody else that gets it, was dope for me. And I've had other people that had podcasts before, but just the energy with Los was just cool. And so, of course, I genuinely believe that you're going to enjoy this conversation. A lot of jokes, a lot of laughs. And obviously, we share some things that I think that if you're a creative and you're watching this, it might be helpful for you. There's a lot of things that he's doing, that he's implementing on his podcast, that I never even knew of. So he already came in clutch about a month ago and gave me a heads up on some shit. Cooperating, networking, building together, that type of shit is important. And, as much as you want to be the best at what you're doing, and you want to make a name for yourself, it's also good to work with other people that are doing the same thing as you, because that's how you learn, and you help each other up. So I feel like, this interview with Los was one of those examples. And like I said, he was a pleasure to talk to, mad cool, didn't really take anything too seriously, was just mad relaxed and humbled also. So anyway, he was just mad cool cat. 280 Plus is the podcast. Journeyman Chronicles is the podcast. And this is episode 67. This is Los Def's journey. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got hip to your shit on Instagram.
Yep.
Which is like Instagram for me has been like a savior because there's a lot of the people you may know comes through and you start
Yes.
swiping and swiping. But then
Yes.
like even in the reels, you just swipe and it's just like, and I saw the podcast and I was like, what I like about it is I didn't know you were local. I was like, this is a
okay.
dope. It was dope. The
See, that's the
the
goal.
logo.
Okay,
yeah, you know what I
okay,
mean. Like,
okay.
and at 280 plus. At first, I was like, what does this mean? So
Yep.
when I found you on Spotify and I was reading through the description, I was like, that makes sense.
Yes.
So let's talk. Let's start here.
Okay,
Because because we both got a podcast, and I'm always curious. Like when I talk to other people that have a podcast, like, how did you decide to do this? So
Yes.
280 plus.
Yes.
Describe for everybody what that is.
All right, 280 plus. It's a social media based platform, whatever. And I used to be just real heavy on Twitter, and I used to just talk a lot of shit, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I, every now and then I would have people say like, "Oh, yo, you should start a podcast," like, because I would just like, I would always just comment on stuff, like I would react to stuff, whatever.
Gotcha.
And I just. It got to a point where, like, sometimes when you're on social media, you tend to get in arguments with strangers,
Yeah.
and like that's draining. You know what I mean? And you're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
yo, like I don't know you, and like some people would get disrespectful, and,
Yeah.
and it's like, bro, that's corny, man. Like you got, what you got Twitter fingers, whatever, and
Keyboard warriors.
yeah. So I was like, this is corny, and I'm like, I can't get off what I need to get off in these tweets anymore. Like I don't want to write these long threads anymore, so whatever. So I decided like, yo, I need to start my own platform. But I've been a big fan of podcasts since like about 2015, 2016. And I got my first taste of being on a podcast like in 2017. And I have a cousin out in Philly, and he was on it's a local podcast, and he was on one. And I was like, yo, how you get on there? Like, cause like I just thought it was dope. I was listening to Joe Budden, I was listening to Combat Jack back then, Tax Stone. I was like, so I was really into all these different podcasts. And I was like, yo, I want to talk on one, whatever. So like, and somehow like I kind of made the connection, and like me and him did one together on it was a podcast called Right on Cue Live. And so then I became a fan of that, and I was on that podcast like another 2 times. Like it was a live show and then another episode. And then in 2020, the pandemic, everything, people deciding what they want to do. And like, it was like in the fall of 2020, the dude that made this podcast Right on Cue Live, he decided to stop it, whatever. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like he was a part of my rotation, whatever.
Especially at that time. That's the time to do the podcast.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I get, he was doing it for a couple years, and, I just like what he was doing. So he based out of Philly, and he was getting just creators, poets, anything like entrepreneurs, his friends, and it's really my podcast is kind of like the format is kind of inspired by this guy, whatever. And I was on the podcast myself, but it was funny because he would always get like strangers, like it would be like he might have like 4 strangers on there, whatever, and like kind of link them up. And I kind of started doing that in the beginning, like I know this guy, but then that kind of got a little bit weird because now we're from small cities, you know what I mean? So like you're from Lancaster, I'm from York, and everybody knows each other.
Yeah, after a while,
you know what I mean? Like people know each other, and then like people have conflict with each other that you don't even know. You know what I mean?
Okay. Did you have that experience?
Not guests in particular having conflict, but in my mind thinking like, dang, I can't invite this person.
Okay, so you're already, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, this, because in York, like it's it can get a little bit rough out there, and it's weird because it's so small, but like it can get territorial, and people don't mess with this person, and that, so like I had to just kind of like pivot, and I was like, I'm just, people that are popping, like people that are doing stuff, and then I want them to kind of get a little bit of shine. Plus, we're gonna talk about general stuff, and we're gonna have fun, and just trying to make it like a media hub, so to speak. That's what I'm trying to do. So,
well, but I like that. I like there's different like segments to your podcast where it's like you've got the guest, and then we're gonna talk some shit, and you'll have the guest get in on some things. I can't do that because I'm so like a introvert where there's half the things. Like when I'm listening to your podcast, I'm like, who are these people? I'm like a hermit. So what you're providing is pretty dope because there's times where like I'm not even hip to some shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I'm in my own world. But what I also like that you're doing is you're putting timestamps in your description.
Yes.
So you're giving. That's pretty cool. I never thought of that. And that helps somebody that might want to just look for something.
Yes.
What gave you that idea to do that?
I seen it on some other podcasts.
There you go,
I just seen it, and then I just thought, like, you know what? Why not? Like, because nobody knows who the heck I am. You know what I mean? Like by and large, whatever. So like, if I make my descriptions like pretty detailed, and then you have something that you can literally click on. And I try to tell people like they're clickable. You can literally click on that, and then because the way you format it, it'll go right to that part.
That's
of the episode.
dope.
Yeah,
that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was clickable. I just always noticed them.
Yeah, no, they're clickable.
Because I'm always listening from the very beginning, but you can actually click.
Yes,
on any platform.
Yeah, that's like YouTube. I know Spotify, probably Apple and stuff like that. But yeah, you can click on them things, man.
What hosting site are you using, if you don't mind?
I use it was Anchor.
Yeah, now it's Spotify.
Spotify for podcasters.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah,
So let me back up real quick because you mentioned when you started doing this podcast with your boy, they were live. So your first experience with a podcast was live?
Well,
okay.
It was called Right on Q Live. I think because his name was Q Day, and then so it was just a play on words, whatever.
Okay.
But like I don't know. They weren't actually like it wasn't like
okay.
But I noticed though. So no, to his credit though, he didn't edit.
Okay. So everything
was. So I guess it in a way it is kind of like just in the sense of like raw.
Like you knew that this was going to be what it was.
Yeah. Like he didn't really edit. Like when I think about it, like because there would be some times where it'd be audio issues and you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
And like I don't know. I see you edit. I noticed that you edit. Yeah. Like I'm like we're taking all that out. If I cough, I'm taking
1,000%.
We taking that off. Yeah. If I notice I'm rubbing my nose too much, I gotta get that out of there.
Breathing all heavy and shit.
Like I gotta. Yeah, I gotta get that off of there. Like,
yeah, man.
And people don't realize too. Like, it's like they just it looks good, whatever. I'm like, nah. Like sometimes it's a lot of work, but I love an episode where it's like, oh, yo, I really didn't have to do nothing.
Yeah, that everything felt fault. Yep. A lot of people. You're right. People don't really realize the work that goes into like this was really good. I'm like, yeah, but I had to like take out 10 minutes of content, 10 minutes of, like you said, bullshit and conversation or coughing. There was an episode, I brought this up before, I had an interview that we sat down, I spoke with my friend, the Reverend Shayna Watson, good friend of mine.
Okay.
And she sat right where you are. We talked, shot the shit, had a great conversation. Yeah. And then she leaves and my wife comes in and I'm like, baby, listen, I want you to listen to this interview. And I press play and within a minute of the conversation, my mic cut out. So all you hear is silence, and then she would talk, and then you'd hear silence.
Oh, so your mic was out.
My mic was out,
but
hers was fine.
Oh man!
So I had to I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, you know what that's like, where you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, I messaged her, and she's like, oh man. She was like, we'll reschedule, but it's not gonna be until this was like October. She was like, it won't be till like December. I'm like, I can't fucking wait that long. So I re-recorded my vocals.
What?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah. So like,
you remember what you said?
I had to listen to her answers.
Okay.
And then it kind of like
were you looking at your lips like oh yo?
But you know what it was too was like her mic you could begin to hear my vocals.
Okay.
Before the mic cut out because I had it set up where the mic automatically would silence itself once the guest would start talking to eliminate the breathing.
Yes. Okay.
So I would oh, that's what I was saying. And then I was like, you have to find the rhythm and the energy.
Wow.
And 8 hours, bro. My wife
that's
was heated.
That's skill though, man.
Because it was the most exhausting. I was gone all day. I was up in the bedroom. It was exhausting. But anyway, I bring that up because
that's good.
I know you would understand the shit that goes into you don't know what I'm going through.
And you don't.
Do you have that? I don't like the way this sounds. Okay, because you said your boy just let shit go. I can't do that.
Nah, I can't do that. Nah. I gotta edit stuff and since I do a lot of my stuff virtual, that's another element that's a problem, because if somebody's connection is not good, somebody they might be using their phone, and not the thing is, phone is not necessarily bad. Like, it depends on the quality of your phone. You know what I mean? The quality of your speaker, because maybe you drop your phone too many damn times. You know what I'm saying? Like dealing with people that send bad Wi-Fi. You know, and I try to coach certain people through things. Like, I say, hey, I give them like a little checklist, like, oh, make sure you got good lighting, get out of distractions, whatever. But then some people, they don't listen.
They don't even read it, probably.
They don't even read it. But like, I've had people like driving, they riding in cars and so, and I'm like, bro, like getting a haircut. Well, now I did that, but that was planned. That was planned. That was planned.
That was with Tyreek.
Yeah, that was
a dope episode.
That was dope, man. Tyreek been my barber like probably like 3 years, 22. That was it 22. Yeah, 2020. So almost 3 years.
Yeah, I was listening to the episode.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was dope, man. And just kind of just finding him. You know what I mean, as a barber, and then like he's just so into like the content creation. He's really turned into like a mentor of mine.
Absolutely, I can see that.
It's dope, man.
And it's dope that you had like that opportunity with him, because not all barbers would be that.
Nah.
Like, yeah, sure, sit in my chair.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, nah, I just want to cut your hair. I don't want to be on the camera. But
that was raw though. It was so raw, because I remember he kind of said like, oh, yo, let's do this, whatever. And I was like, all right, yeah. And then I forgot about it. And then it was like the next time I came in, he was like, yo, I got the mics ready. I was like, oh, for real? So like,
I heard you say
like, I didn't even, it wasn't even a plan. Like, so I was like, all right, I don't know what we're going to do. We could try to force talking about general things, whatever. And then he just started talking. And then I was like, it kind of turned into an interview, because, I'm asking him questions, and we just started talking about his career, and he can naturally do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he got so much experience, but it was real dope though. Yeah.
Doing shit on the fly like that though, kind of like going back to what we talked about before, where you said you did some events. So the being on your toes and being swift and being, that's important. Yeah. And I'm sure that was that always something that you were good at? You kind of alluded to that a little bit in the beginning. I'm not sure if that was that what I'm hearing or not.
Well, the thing is though, sometimes you don't know if you're good at something until you jump into that fire. You know what I mean? So like, like I did my first like live thing. It was a fashion show. It was April 2022, like early April. And I was just kind of doing, I didn't know who I was gonna be talking to or anything like that. And like the first interview was this like beautiful model, you know what I mean? And like she was like kind of breathtaking, and like I just, want to be professional, you know what I mean? I want to, and it's funny because like, I had guys like, yo, you should have tried it, and I'm like, bro, like I'm, this is kind of like work, you know what I mean? I can't do that. I got to make the women feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And at that point in time, I don't think I had too many female guests or anything like that, so I just wanted to make a good impression. But I did that. I did a film festival. I did. They're not doing it this year, but in York they had an event called the King Street Gym.
Okay.
So I did that last year, and they had me set up in basically this venue. They do like weddings and stuff like that, but I was like in the bachelor suite. Or the groom suite, and they had me set up, and I had artist interviews there. I did the Give Back Fest with like Worldwide Wednesday.
Okay,
that was in November. I've been outside, man. I've been outside a couple different times, but like it's funny too because I've been invited to stuff, and like sometimes, and people are accommodating, but they don't realize like what goes into what I need. You know what I mean? So like I was just at a fashion show in January, and it was a Ace of Styles fashion show. It was a dope fashion show, but they had me like on the floor, but like the DJ's playing music all loud, whatever. And I'm like, yo, bro, I can't. I've been in events, because I remember I got invited to like a party, and I tried to do interviews, and it was like, bro, I can't get nothing. I can't get nothing. So like just thinking about like on the business side, things like that. Like getting outside though lets me know like what is possible, and also like how to kind of maneuver, and like what I need if I want to like branch out and stuff like that.
The cool thing about doing that is and this is like a common thing that I get from people when I'm interviewing them that are doing things.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't know what you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
And then you can get to the point after that experience where you're like, well, now I can turn things away.
Yep.
Because I know like the traffic here is no good. Like you said, they might as well have just had you MC the party if they're going to have the DJ.
Yep.
And that's probably the train of thought they had. It's like, no, actually, I need to hear this shit and I need them to hear me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
yes.
I do appreciate that when I hear that from people, especially people that are in this field. It's like there's a lot of work.
Yes.
You got to be dedicated. You got to be like, after everything that we've just talked about, to wake up the next day and be like, I'm ready to do it again because I love doing it.
Yep.
And in your case, you have this mobility where you can do things on the fly, you can do things in person. What is your wheelhouse? What do you prefer? Do you like having the more intimate, private conversations, or is it like, let me be in front of a lot of people on the fly? Like, what do you prefer?
What do I prefer? Well, I guess I've done more of the like personal, intimate conversations, like especially like because I've talked to some dope people from my hometown and even from Lancaster and beyond, but like people that have like kind of left and like kind of transcended whatever, and like so I've seen their progression. So like especially with, like if I could really do research on you, you know, and you have stuff to talk about, because you know a lot of times people want to let me get on there whatever, and they don't really, you know, they just want to kick it, and we could do that, you know what I mean, but sometimes, you know what I mean, but that's the thing too, like I can only really kick it with you like if you're already like my friend or something like that, you know. We can't just like I could try to cultivate that, but like if I want to start talking about TV shows and then like you don't watch the same TV show whatever, like then it's like, and I've ran into that too, so whatever. But I do like the intimate stuff, but like I would like to get more opportunities to like be outside, and because you know there's these events that happen, and like you know a big artist will come, and I'm like, well, like how do we make this conversation to where like I'm talking to Ashanti or I'm talking to like that's where I wanted to kind of lead into. So like
that's the game plan for you, is to get to that.
Yeah, I want to be like the Breakfast Club, man. I want to be this, you know what I mean? But like big, you know, I would like to be like, whether it's my own thing or even, you know, like I'm just talent, and like, you know, somebody sees me and is like, oh yeah, like I feel like I have a resume, you know, I have 110 episodes of, you know what I mean, work, whatever, and I feel like it's good. It's journalistic work, you know, like that's what I originally went to school for, like journalism.
Okay, you did go to school for journalism.
Yeah, originally, yeah, and then I pivoted. So I don't really talk about my current career because it's a little bit public, and I just
don't want the conflict of interest.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, too much conflict of interest, and I definitely don't talk about it on my platform either, because it's just it's weird, man. Like when you do certain things, you gotta worry about censorship in some ways, and like you gotta protect yourself. Yeah. So that's why. So that's why it's interesting, because it's like I'm at a point where I'm not saying I want a full career change, whatever, but like if the opportunity presents itself, because I love this.
Yeah. That's where I want to get to, is like I love doing this, and the game plan is to monetize it to the point where I say bye, I'm out. Yeah. So let's not talk about your career.
Yeah.
I don't know how you are. You said you wanted to do research, where I'm the opposite.
Okay. Because I was like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't give people questions per se, but like I ask them like, hey, what are you into? This and that, whatever. And then once they get, and I look at what they're doing, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna ask you about this. Said, homeboy, you said this, like whatever.
Yeah. But see, I like that. It's like I don't want to ask questions. And I'm not sure if you did this or not, because I get this a lot, but a lot of people are like, are there any questions that I should be prepared for? And I'm like, no, I don't have any, because I want it to be spontaneous. I want it to be kind of like, but it forces me to.
That's a skill.
Yeah. And there's times where like someone's just not, I got to pull this conversation. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've had that experience.
Where
you're like, they're not.
Yeah.
Not. Their answers are like 5 seconds long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow, I gotta really keep
Yeah.
reinventing the wheel with this conversation.
It's not like that right now, is it?
No.
Okay.
No,
It's flowing,
no.
All right,
Bro. It's flowing.
Okay.
Like yeah. No,
Because I don't know what it's like to be a guest.
man.
Like, I'm not a guest often. I have been a guest a couple times, but
but you gotta have a vibe. Like you know it.
Yeah.
I'm a very humble person, but I'll know if I'm shutting down or if I'm engaging. Like, and if I'm the kind of cat where if I'm shutting down, you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
So I haven't had that experience. Usually that's like in my personal life where I'm just like, I don't want to talk to this person. You know what I mean? But yeah, so like I couldn't find you. So that makes sense.
Oh, that's good.
That makes
That's good. That's good.
It's working.
Let's go.
So let's talk about York. Not so much York per se, but like let's talk about where you're from.
Okay.
Are you born and raised in York?
Born and raised in York. You know, I got Philly roots. So my father's from Philadelphia, and I really have like no family in York though. It's crazy. Like just my immediate family. And my mom is from there originally. She had a real small family. My grandfather's from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I didn't know my maternal grandmother, you know what I mean? She was never in my mom's life, whatever. So, but yeah, my dad's from Philly. My mom went to Temple, and that's how she met him in Philadelphia. And she moved back home when she got pregnant. And my dad, I'll tell my dad's story. He always tells everybody this, whatever.
Okay.
So my dad was, he had got, I guess when my mom got pregnant, he got in trouble, whatever. So he was in jail and he was on Outmate. Well, he always tells everybody like he left Outmate, you know what I mean, just to make sure to see that I was born, whatever. And so like I guess he got locked up probably like 3 or 4 months after I was born, whatever. But like he was like on the run, like so to speak. He was on the run, whatever. So, but like so growing up in York, like I always had like it was always extended family, whatever. Because like I said, my mom like she got a brother and sister, and neither one of them had kids, whatever. So I had my mom and my dad. My dad, all his family is in Philadelphia, and it was really like my grandfather's like second wife. It was like all her like Puerto Rican, Spanish. You know what I mean? My mom's Puerto Rican, and it was just like a extended family. So like I always felt like an outsider in a certain way because I didn't have like I was the only child too for a long time. My parents ended up having kids late. I mean, just like way after I was like I have like really young siblings.
Okay,
like,
got you.
Growing up in York, I was, went to York High, city schools, all that, whatever. Had an interest in journalism on a school newspaper. Wrote a couple dope things. I remember like that's when like Joel Santana was out, whatever, and that's what I wanted to go to school for. But I kind of was, I guess, like I said, York is a small town, whatever. So like everybody kind of knows everybody, and I think when I was going through high school, I don't think I would look at myself as popular, but like I knew a lot of people, whatever. So like I was I was popular, whatever. So like it kind of made it, I wouldn't say like I feel like like more people should listen to my platform in York, whatever. But like I feel like at this point like everybody knows about it, kind of.
Yeah.
So, but
when did journalism what was it about journalism that intrigued you? Even as a youngster, you were intrigued.
Because I took it like I remember. I guess I was a good writer. Like my teacher, I had teachers that told me like I was a good writer, and I remember in 10th grade. Her name was Mrs. Hall. She said, "Oh, you should sign up for journalism class next year. You should get on the paper." And I was like, "All right, whatever." And I did, and like you got to kind of pick the assignments that you kind of wanted to do, and I just learned like just certain style of like questioning and things like that. Like they call it like the nut graph, whatever. So and just like kind of you learn like about like journalistic like integrity and stuff like that. So like it's funny because like when I watch like media and things like that, I kind of know where it's like how it's supposed to be, and like I can watch like the news and see like most of this stuff that you're watching on CNN, Fox, MSNBC. It's not actually news, it's commentary. You know what I mean? It's not even the news or whatever. It's just on a news channel.
Yeah.
So like, and then people get mad about that stuff, and it's like, no, that's op-ed, really. You know what I mean? Like, that's just opinion stuff, a lot of that type of stuff. So, but no, I was into that, man, and always into sports. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of people always say, "Oh, yo, you could be on ESPN, you know, this and that, whatever."
Yeah.
But when I was going to school, that was like in like, I would think like in college, it was like '08, so to speak, and that's when the recession hit. And a lot of like print publications were dying, and everybody was like going to like, you know, digital, but like nobody really knew what that was gonna look like, whatever. So I don't know. I just kind of pivoted to I was like, you know, I had like a young kid in my life, whatever, you know, like I was a father, you know what I mean? So like I felt like I needed something that was a little bit more stable, a little more secure. And then I kind of pivoted, you know, into something else, whatever. But it's adjacent, I would say. It's kind of related, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing this, I was very hip to like the parallel similarities with like podcasting and like, well, not podcasting, but like interviewing people in a podcast, where it's just kind of like, I don't ever want to consider, because people will say that to me, like, oh, this is like journalist, oh, you're like a journalist. I'm like, no. Like, that's like like people got to like go to school for that shit. Like, that's like, to me, I'm like, do you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you mean, but like,
do you lean on that the same way or no?
Nah, not necessarily. Like, because I think the word journalism has been convoluted a little bit, whatever, and it
you
might
can pull that in if you want. Bro.
Okay, yeah, the
or I mean, like swivel it.
Okay.
There you go.
Nah, but the term journalist, journalism and things like that, that's become convoluted. Partially due to, you know, maybe certain political factions, whatever. Because if everything is once somebody important says that the news is fake, now everybody is in question. But unless it agrees with your point of view,
right,
it ain't fake then, whatever. So it's like, so no, like I don't know. I get what you're trying to say. I don't think it's not that. I don't know. I wonder, because like I didn't get that far into that, whatever I got, because I'm thinking like it's a lot of it's writing, it's a lot of composition. You know, maybe you're doing some stuff like with broadcasting and things like that, but like I think you could be, because like you could be a freelance journalist. You know what I mean? So like you're just kind of like jumping out there, and so I don't think you necessarily need a degree in journalism to be a journalist, but I think I think you're trying to give respect to that, to the craft.
I guess in my mind, I always looked at it like, I wonder if somebody that got their degree in journalism, I wonder if it rubs them the wrong way when they're like, this dude's saying he's a journalist and this is journalism, but he didn't, like how doctors are when they, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think a journalist would only say that based off of the product that person puts out. Like if they can tell, like, yo, you didn't ask any hard-hitting questions, you didn't dig deep enough, you know, I think that's when they would say it, but not necessarily based off of your experience, whatever.
Gotcha. I know it's a field that's taken very seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm always like, you're right, I'm always like respectful of that.
Yeah.
So okay, so you're young and journalism is there, and so here we are, the podcast, and you want to eventually, you're trying to level this up so that you get to a point where you are interviewing the who's who.
That'd be dope.
So the game plan then is to get out of York, get out of Pennsylvania, move. I mean,
yes, I'm in Lancaster now. I have been I'm from.
You're in Lanc right now.
Yeah, I am Lanc.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Lanc right now. Yeah, I've been out here for like 8 years now. So
Okay. Yeah. Wait, I do remember that now. Forgive me. I'm listening to the Tyreek's episode. You brought that up.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, then, still, are you trying to get out of Lanc? Or you?
Well, I don't necessarily. The thing is, now that things are digital, now that things are, you know, I don't necessarily think I would have to leave where I'm at, whatever. Yeah. But like again, like it just, again, we want to, you know, if we could make it like independently monetize and like, you know, make it a full business, like, and if we could do it here, that would be great. If we had to expand and move and go to a different market, because that's the only drawback, is that obviously being from smaller towns, smaller cities, is that like, you're your reach, so to speak, is a little bit limited. But right, I think it depends on what you kind of create, because like think about like rock lidits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like who people don't know, like, yo, there's a whole studio, a performance like practice studio.
That's why I work at Tate.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
and like the who's who are
Yeah.
there. Like you don't realize Beyonce might pull up, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, whatever. And so like I don't, now it makes you wonder, like just with technology, it makes you think like you don't necessarily got to leave where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, to do what you got to do, especially what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. And especially like how Lank is kind of like really like coming to a different place where.
So you're from here.
I grew up in Lank.
So what? Yeah, like what was it? Because I love Lancaster.
Lank
like,
Lank
love
right
it.
now, it's just like.
Is it is it gentrified? Is that what it is?
It sucks, but like it sucks and it's dope. And that makes any sense. Not the gentrification.
Okay.
The beautiful like art that's coming out of town, the vibe that's coming out of the city. But then it's also like, man, but like I had Danielle Beatty on, who's a realtor, and we talked about this because I was like, yo, like how's this vibe with you? Because she's helping people get homes, and she has like this personal thing with like seeing her city get gentrified, and it's like,
oh man,
it does suck. I would hate to sit there and go like, oh well, I mean these buildings have been sitting there forever, what the fuck's the big deal? And I get that, but then there's also people that don't have an opportunity to get these fucking, you got these small ass condos. I guess they're small, I don't know, but there's stupid amounts of money to overlook Lank. I'm not hating on Lank, I'm just saying like, what are our priorities at? But anyway, it's a give and take for me, because growing up, I didn't see this vibe, this culture that is embracing the arts, that's embracing the life of different people in the city. Yeah.
See, York is a step behind. I feel like. Yeah, York is just a step behind Lancaster. Like I love Lancaster, and people think like, oh, it's just Lancaster, whatever. I'm like, yo. And I hate, like I love where I'm from. I love the people, like where I'm from, whatever. But like, nah, like I wouldn't move back. And they just think like, and I try to get friends to come. I'm like, no, you got to move out here. Like it's just better. Like it's more culture, more small business, better restaurants. Yeah, the art. Like it just seems like there's always something,
real good food.
Yeah, like it seems like there's always something going on. And like I think on a grassroots level, there's a lot of good things happening in York. But like it's just like, ain't got no ownership, whatever. And like I'm like, I don't know, like I think there's certain things that are gentrified, but like not nearly to the capacity like here, you know what I mean? Like downtown is like it's popping downtown Lancaster. If you go like a Friday evening, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like people are walking outside. Like I don't see that as much in York, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, growing up, it wasn't like this at all. And you're right. You get a lot of people that are like, where are you from? And you get the whole Amish joke. You know, and it's like growing up, it was like, I need to get out of here. And now it's the opposite. Now it's like, yo, this is a vibe. I do love seeing what's going on. So, you know, you just pray that people are doing the right thing, and you want to see, especially when it's your hometown. I know you're from York and you're appreciating it, but growing up for me, it's like I love, like when I go through, I remember my own stomping grounds, and I don't want to see some things change.
What area did you live in?
I grew up Manor and Coral, so it's right off of Manor.
That's like the west side?
4th Street, excuse me.
It's like west?
Yeah.
Okay.
Southwest.
Okay,
Southwest. I'm pretty sure it's Southwest. Someone's probably clowning me right now, but I'm pretty sure it's Southwest.
Because York is pretty defined. Like I don't know if y'all call certain parts west side, this side, whatever, but like in York, it's like you got south side, east side, west side, and you got Parkway. That's like the north side. Whatever.
Gotcha.
But
Manor, right up where Kunzler Hot Dog is.
Oh yeah.
Go up to where past Pizza Hut.
Yep.
Behind Pizza Hut, that back there. You know, and yeah, like you said, trying to level up to get to a place you find what you love. You obviously have found something worth the tightrope game that you're playing here. And so I think that speaks volumes. If you're willing to do that, and to go the measure that you just described, this has to be something that you see yourself doing for some time.
Yeah, I do, and like it feels good too when you get certain support, you know, certain level of support, and like people are just like, no, like you know what I mean, keep doing it, keep like don't stop. Like that's what most people say to me, like anytime they see me, or you know, and I'm just like, all right, like I don't have any, like I haven't been discouraged yet. You know what I mean, like you know, like because that's the thing. Sometimes you do like like even early on, like you know, sometimes people try to do stuff like this, a creative venture, and they're not getting the views that they want, and they just
they fall
you know,
off, bro.
And it's like, you know, I have months where it's like I've learned, because I think once you do it for a while, you learn that there are the ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested in how you do it, whatever, because you do it by seasons.
Yeah.
So
there's a reason for that.
Okay, because I'm curious, because all right, I listen to like a Joe Budden, listening to the Brilliant Israel. They don't stop.
No,
they don't. They go every week. So like I come from that. So I'm like yo, like even I could be having the worst week, yo. Yeah. Like, but then I feel better after, after I did like and the thing is, do you do any solos? Have you ever done it?
Every now and then I do.
Okay, because like I'll do a solo, and like I'm always so surprised. I'm like, all right, man, I ain't talk that long. Talk for an hour. I'm like, I talk to myself for I talk to myself for an hour, bro. I'm crazy. Like what? I'm just like, you know, I mean, just animated, and it's crazy because sometimes when I make a reel and it's by myself, some of the, like, I ain't gonna lie, those are like my biggest. Yeah, those are my biggest reels, and I'm like, damn, like, cause I want to showcase people, and I want to, you know, but I'm like, damn, man, I might have to just, you know.
Yeah, you're right. There are ebbs and flows, and there's like, you know, there's like times where I'll post something and I'm surprised. Yeah, like I wasn't really. I didn't put this much into editing this reel. But this one, I spent 30 minutes fucking around with it. Yeah. No, I do seasons because one, well. I will say this. I did an interview with Byron Morrison of Earspace. Okay. You did it with, we did a podcast.
Yeah, because we're supposed to, like, I'm supposed to link with them. I don't know.
He's a real cool cat. He's a real cool cat, and his studio is dope as shit. Mad cool vibe. Shout out to Byron. He actually hit me up over a year ago and suggested the podcast swap. So I bring that up because we were having this conversation afterwards when I was there, and he was like, do you do seasons? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I was thinking about it, but I don't know how that would work, and I don't want to stop. And then what happened one day is I was like, you know, it was a 2-part answer real quick. It's one, it does give me a break because I have 4 kids. My wife and I have 2 children together, and plus my 2 oldest from my first marriage. So I have 4 kids, and I have a busy family life. And this is a sacrifice for my family. So I have to balance that shit until I get to the point where I'm like, yo, I'm making it. We're gonna have to make it work. So I have to, you know, I gotta, like, it's a give and take. Okay. But 2, respect. Here's what I do is I thought to myself, and I don't know if this is working. It's not like I'm some guru here.
Yeah. We just trying shit out.
This is exactly what I'm doing. And it kind of feels like it's working for me. Is where I said to myself, if I say this is the season this is the season finale, this is season 1 finale, and the episode gets a lot of views, and then in 3 months I come back for a season premiere, it's intriguing. People are, you're back for another season. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Okay. So it's like I'm trying to really establish the podcast as a brand, but also like as a like an empire for me. For JMC personally, there's a lot of things I want to establish, not just a podcast. There's other things I want to do, and I'm trying to establish this culture of I'm here for this amount of time. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Okay. And so if I can leave you and build suspense so that you come back, it's going to be worth it because I've been working on the off season. So I use words like off season because it is an off season. Yeah. But, you know, I told my wife, this is an honest conversation I'll have with you right now. I said, my last interview is at the end of May. I said that interview.
Am I the last interview?
No. I got one more after you. it'll be 1 or 2 weeks into June. I said, and then I'm putting my laptop, all my equipment away until August.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I needed to do that so that my wife knows, like, I know you're my wife. Like,
yes,
you're my lady.
yes,
And
yes.
this is important to me because she sacrifices so much. But come August, and the funny thing is, bro, I don't know how, and I want to get into this with you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm talking so much.
No, that's great.
Just answering your question.
That's great.
But I'm 2 months booked for season 3 already.
What?
And people have come to me. So that was the goal for me from the very beginning. I told my wife, I said, my goal, because I don't know how it was for you, and I want to ask you, but to reach out, like the cold call of like, yo, this is what I'm doing. I told my wife, I said, this is so fucking hard. Like, my goal was for people to come to me, be like, yo, can I get on? August, September, and into October already.
Wow.
I'm booked. So
That's dope.
it's yo, and it's like this is it, and I thank God, but it keeps me hungry. So now in the off season, I'm enjoying myself. You know, we got a little cruise going on with my mom and my stepdad, my wife and I, and we're gonna have a good time. And then come August, I'm just doing a whole month of interviews, and then September, boom, season 3 starts. So then
Okay.
I'm in the chamber with 5 episodes already.
Nice.
And that's how I started season 2. And so I was just like, it just works for me. So
Okay.
I guess to answer your question, like, it's just a matter of like, what works for me?
Yes.
What works for you? You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am intrigued by that because so that's the thing, that I'm not married. You know, I'm not a married man, whatever, you know, and, you know, relationship. We ain't going to talk about relationships. We ain't gonna talk about relationships today, whatever. Not today. No, but I'm a good man. No, I'm a good man.
It's
But
all
but,
good, bro.
but nah. So, but
We
like,
don't judge anybody on this fucking podcast.
right. So no, I'm not a married man, whatever. So like, I guess I don't have that. I have a son, and I just, you know, he knows what I do, whatever, and I kind of just make sure I weave it into my week somehow. But no, like I think it would be kind of dope if I could, like, you know, take a break and then just have stuff lined up. But like, I don't know though, because like I do talk about stuff that's like very topical
Yes.
and current, whatever. So it's like, and it's like, oh no, like, oh, like if I miss something, I'm like, oh, like I wanted to really talk about that, whatever, you know. And like, and there's people that like I see like just out in public, and they're like, yo, did you talk about this yet, whatever, or like, yo, you should talk about this, whatever. Like Tyreek constantly
Yeah.
sending me stuff.
That's
like
so cool,
that's
bro.
like constantly like, yo, like it was recently I did something about like a delusion calculator or something like that, and he sent that to me, whatever, and like it was just about like women and how
Okay, I was wondering about that. I'm
Yeah.
glad, because I was like, is that a legit, like, is that a formula or something?
It's, I don't see, they said they use census data and another like statistic, whatever, and like it's supposed to just talk about probabilities of like what's out there, and so it's the female delusion calculator. And so like it's like some people like tied this type of stuff to Kevin Samuels. I don't know if you know who Kevin Samuels was, but he was like he died last year, whatever. But he was like this like fast growing YouTuber that was like doing all these like relationship like live shows, and women would like chime in and just asking them stuff, whatever, and like he would represent for like, he called the high value man, so to speak. And a lot of these guys that talk like that, they come off smug and things like that, whatever. And you know, but like like he was just pretty real about it. And basically, like, you know, a lot of the women that would get on there, they would he would set them up. He would just line them up. He would ask them all these questions like, oh, how much, you know, where do you live, whatever. It would be a big city. He's like, all right, well, how much do you want your husband to make, whatever. And they'd be like, oh, $300,000 a year. And he's like, and do you care what race they are or whatever? And they're like, nah, like I want a black man, whatever. And he's like, well, you realize like only X percent of the population is that, whatever. So that calculator, he didn't make that, whatever, but like I think it got derived as like, all right, well, because he would just take statistics.
Sure.
So it's like, all right, like based off of these little arbitrary things that you want, in a relationship and a man, let's see how many guys there are like that. And it's like, I think people are shocked, but I don't know how accurate it is. But even like me, I was mad rare. Like I was like a 0.23%, whatever. And I'm like, I don't feel that rare. But like, even if there is a margin of error, like even if it's like maybe like I'm 10, like I represent 12%, whatever. I'm like, dang, that's still pretty rare. You know what I mean? Whatever. But like I don't know. It was just fun. It was just a fun thing.
Do a lot of your like your boys and friends of the show, like are they constantly, like you said, Tyreek texts you? You get recommendations for topics from a lot of people.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
like you said, they see you in the street, that type of thing.
People. Yeah, anytime like if I still step outside. You know what I mean? I might hit a bar or something like that, and be like, oh, yo, I'm loving the podcast show, whatever.
See, that's dope, bro.
It is fun, man. But you say you're an introvert. So
but I've been breaking out of it because of my wife, who's an extrovert.
Hey,
so and the podcast has been forcing me to do that. But that experience of like going out and people see you, they recognize you from. Do you get that? Do you get people that recognize you only from the podcast?
Yeah.
Like they don't know you, but when they see
you, because like I said, if I'm home, if I'm home, like a lot of people know who already know of me.
You know a lot of people,
they already know of me, whatever. But like no, like there are people that just like, I've been seeing that podcast or whatever, and they might hit you on Instagram and things like that, whatever. So, but yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun.
Yeah. When you're talking about topics and you said with your guests, you try to do as much research.
Yeah.
When it comes to the topics, are you just grabbing what you see and being like, are you getting as much research, or are you just going to take it and blindly start discussing? Like, listen, this is what's happening right now. Let's shoot the shit about this.
Well, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll ask you I'll just ask you some general things like, yo, what are you into? Like, yo, do you watch like what kind of TV shows you watch, whatever?
Oh, okay.
And they'll be like, oh, I watch this. I'm into this, whatever. And it's crazy because like I've watched stuff just so I could create a conversation with somebody.
So you're creating around the guest.
A lot of times,
wow.
Yeah, I try to.
That's cool.
I mean, like if you're already a content creator, you're an entrepreneur, whatever. That's usually the basis of it. But then, like, just say you own a restaurant, whatever, and then like I see some headlines about some crazy stuff going on in restaurants. So I'm like, all right, that's in your wheelhouse. So like, so I could ask you this, whatever, and you gonna have an opinion about it, so to speak. So like stuff like that. Like I talked to a guy that owned a sneaker store. So like I centered that it was all about kicks. You know what I mean? It was all about fashion and we talked about Kanye with his sneaker stuff, so I try to cater it around my guests. So like it's important that like for content creators out there, it is important that you put stuff out there, even if it's just your general interest, whatever, because you want content, you want interviews, you know what I mean? Like if you are like a singer or rapper or whatever you got going on, and it's like sometimes I know people think some of that stuff is like fleeting and like they look at like social media as like whatever, but like it just creates opportunities, like a guy like me who's like looking to talk to people, and it's like, yo, it doesn't even have to be a painful experience. It's gonna be fun because I'm talking about stuff that you're passionate about, that you like, and so like when we do a podcast swap, I gotta figure out like what's Felix into, man, you know what I'm saying? Like what, because even if it could be a TV show that you're currently watching, I'm like, oh, yo, I'm gonna check that out, whatever, and then it's like, yo, let's do a deep dive on like whatever. And it's just dope like cool.
That shows the dedication that you're willing to. I always thought it was like, this is what we're discussing, and my guest is going to be a part of it.
Well, I've done that a few times. I'm not saying I've never done that. I've done it a few times, and it's usually not that. So it usually doesn't turn out too good. I've even had people like, they told me like, oh, I'm like, yo, what kind of TV shows you watch, whatever. They're like, oh, I watch Power. I'm like, oh, bet we're gonna talk about, because Power's on right now, so we're gonna talk about it. And then I start asking questions like, oh, yo, I ain't caught up, whatever, bruh.
So they weren't aware that you were going to pull questions from their show.
Yeah, like I didn't ask you that for no reason. Like, you're into sports? So if I know what sports team you like, I'm a dig into that. Like, oh, yo, and we could talk about my team, whatever. But like, yeah, like I try to know a little bit about my guests, and like I said, the more you put out there, because that's
Yeah.
the thing. A lot of these content creators, like, you know, there's a lot of them that, you know, I don't know, they don't put out a lot of content.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I don't have nothing to pull from, man. Like, cause I'm not about to just create a conversation out of thin air. Like and we could do a personal profile too.
Yeah.
But you know,
But
you
it
got to
is-
be interesting. You still got to be doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And it's hard when there's nothing to really, and it's kind of a catch-22 because I try not to look for research,
Yeah.
but I will look at some things
Yes.
to kind of get a general outline. Like I knew you had the podcast, I had this to go off of, and I was like, there's so many things that I know we can talk about just
Okay.
based off that. But when I have nothing to really go off
Yep,
of, it's
yep.
like, this is going to be a really, really blind interview. Okay. I hope they engage with me.
So do you talk to anybody that wants to talk to you?
Yeah.
See, all right, so that's the thing too. Like for me, it gets tricky because, you know, sometimes, yeah, like when I talk about the research, whatever, or like I have to like evaluate, like, because I'm trying to leverage people's audiences. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to leverage your audience to help me out, but I also want you, you know,
Sure,
I'm trying to help you out with my audience, whatever. So like I'm selective sometimes. Like there's rappers that might want to get on and they not that good, you know. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, well, you know, let me check your stuff out, whatever. And then
Yeah.
I don't get.
But
then
that
I
makes
ghost these
sense.
motherfuckers.
That makes sense for what you're doing, though. I think for me,
Yeah.
it's like it's the journey.
Yes.
So I can
yes,
talk
yes.
to now. Again, that's only if there's something that they're allowing me to.
Yes.
When you get, like I said, the 5-second answers, and I'm like, okay, we're okay. You've done now.
It's like
what do I got to think of now?
Yeah. I didn't ask you a closed-ended question. I
Right.
asked you, like,
Right. And there's times where I know that I've learned a lot from this process, and I know from the very beginning I had a knack for engaging conversation.
Nice.
But it is. I don't know if people understand that where engaging with somebody on camera, on audio, and wanting them to understand, like, you're 50% of this conversation. Don't you know what I mean? I will pull you if I need to.
Yes.
But give me eventually, and I've had that.
Yes.
I've had where in the very beginning I was like, whoa, this is going to be tough. And then like 5-10 minutes in, they warm up, they're comfortable. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I've had it where I'm like, this is going to be a horrible conversation because I've watched what they've done and it's interesting, but they're not going to let me. They're not going to work with me. And then the conversation's just phenomenal.
Okay.
It gets blown. Yeah, I've had that.
Okay.
So when you start putting your interviews together and you start putting the content together, talk to me about your process and editing and whatnot. Like, let's talk about like the behind the scenes shit.
Okay.
Because we just alluded to it earlier. It's very important. You know, are you in the middle of the interview in your mind going, this is getting taken out. This is getting taken out.
Yeah. Well, it's never typically about like, I don't know, like, because one, I never want to distort, because with journalism, right, like you never want to distort what somebody said, whatever, and like to make it like they said something else, whatever. So like I always try to keep
Because it's so easy to do that.
It is easy to do that. So always try to make sure your message is your message, whatever. But like when it comes to editing, it's always about just the slip ups, the mistakes. Oh my God, though. I had the most difficult guest last summer, whatever. It was a rapper, you know what I mean? And he probably gonna be salty if he ever hears this, whatever. But like, I ain't gonna say his name, but he know who he is.
Yeah. Right.
Yo, this motherfucker, like he was a troll. Like he kind of like looked at himself as a troll, whatever, you know?
Okay.
And so he was just saying all this stuff that was like really like aggressive, you know what I mean, to other people, whatever. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, this is entertaining. I was like, this is not really my style, whatever, but like, okay, whatever. And then like this dude, he had so many like I never had anybody have like edit points, whatever. But he's like, oh no, like can you take? I need you. And I was just like it was almost like it almost got to. I felt like it almost got to a situation because I was like no, like no, this now at this is like, and I don't never want it to be like that where it's like no, this is my content, whatever. So I get to put it out, whatever.
But there is a line.
there is a line, whatever. But it's like I'm a do certain things, whatever. Even though I don't even necessarily feel comfortable doing that, just on some integrity stuff, whatever. But also too, I'm not a snake. Like I'm not I'm not trying to get you hemmed up or nothing.
Yeah.
But what you're asking me is a little bit unreasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I felt. Like
Yeah.
at certain point. So, but no, like typically if I'm editing, it's the little stuff. It's like, like I said, technology. So like your phone died, or your computer, something falls and it's a big bang. It's so yeah, typically with editing, it's just stuff like that. I'm looking for like the quirks. I mean, like,
Well, 1,000%. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I feel the same way, and it's always like something that I've discussed with people before, where it's like, you don't realize like the responsibility factor that you have when you record an interview with somebody, and then if they share some personal shit with you, and you have it, like they're okay with you sharing it, but it's your responsibility to make sure that it's done right. You can edit things to make it sound like the conversation just took a left, and that's, I think anybody that were to do that on purpose is fucking shitbags. But yeah, you're right, and to your point. Once that shit's done, like that's like, I don't believe in anybody forcing you or being that type of pain in the ass to consistently say, okay, well now I want you to change it.
Yeah.
This isn't like you came to the studio and now this is your song.
Like,
this record is not your record.
It's not your record. I own the masters. Like,
I've always told people, I said, if there's anything we discuss and you're like, you know what, is it okay if that's left out? I'll work with you. Like on some personal shit, I'll work with you. Yeah. This isn't. You said you don't want to say this is my content, but it is.
It is my This
is my baby.
It very much is my content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's like this fine line of like, have you dealt? You mentioned this rapper. The experiences like that though, where it's like, I never want to discuss anything with this person again.
I'm never. He's never coming back on the podcast ever. Like, I don't care. Like, he got other stuff, because I think he had like a podcast that he said, "Oh, I want to get," but he's a guy that has no follow through, man. So like I said, and sometimes that's unfortunate. Like you do have some duds. You know what I mean, when you talk.
That's what I was alluding to. It's that experience.
You have some duds out there. Sometimes people they think it's they got the most interesting things to say, whatever, and then you get the 5-second answers. You feel like you're talking, whatever. Like I've had some things where it was like, I didn't think the interview was that good, but then like it was early enough in the week to where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna add like 20 minutes solo, you know what I mean, onto this, whatever, because I gotta salvage this, whatever, because like when it comes to making reels, I don't got no content, whatever, because then typically I have stuff, I could pull stuff from older episodes, and I do that sometimes, because I can't put everything out there, whatever. But that was even a task too, just learning, like, because I wasn't even doing reels in the beginning of Instagram. I was just doing like longer videos, giving people 3-minute videos, and like, and you're not getting no views, whatever. And then you're like, nah, I'm giving them too much. I got to give them like snippets, whatever. And it's funny because then like people will criticize what you said in a snippet. And I'm like, you can just go, that's the point. You reacted, so it worked, but but the second part of it, the back end didn't work, because you're supposed to go click on that episode.
Clearly you didn't do the assignment correctly.
So I'm like, damn, like shit, I got the hook, I just didn't get the clincher, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But so.
What are your favorite platforms to use?
In terms of what?
Like in regards to like engaging with your listeners with your podcast.
So,
like forgive me. Let me reiterate this. Okay. Are you using podcast Spotify for podcasters? You're using all platforms that they offer?
Yeah, I use all platforms that they offer. I typically though only, like, in terms of the audio platform, I only advertise Spotify and Apple. You know what I mean? Because I'm like,
they're the two big ones.
who's using some of these other ones? I know I never was.
One person was like, I do use Google Podcasts. I was like, I didn't even know they existed until I started this shit.
Yeah. So like, so yeah, those are my main ones. But then like, YouTube Shorts, and then just social media. Then so like Instagram, Twitter.
I was about to say, because you started off saying that you were heavy on Twitter.
So Twitter, it's crazy because like I started my podcast page later, and it's funny because like I do still get I get a lot of content still from Twitter, but I don't talk that much. Like it's weird. It's like I don't talk that much on Twitter, and it's hard to gain traction on Twitter. Twitter is just like if you weren't already popping, it's really hard to like get popping. So Instagram, and then recently more so than ever before, Facebook, and like it's like strangers. It's like I'm starting to like, and I'm starting to see some of these same names, but like it's not even people from York. It's like an audience that I've started to create, and I'm like, I don't know who the hell this person is, but this guy likes and shares my stuff and comments, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know they're real people. Like, I don't do that.
They're
weird.
not bots.
Yeah, they're not bots, whatever. So I'm like, wow, that's dope. So Facebook has been kind of popping lately. Like I said, Instagram is up and down sometimes, but YouTube that's where I want you to go anyway. I really want you to watch it on YouTube. Watch it on YouTube. Watch it on YouTube.
And I've decided to when I did the video, I was like, I'm just putting it on YouTube, and I'm not monetizing it on YouTube. I'm not even getting that penny per play. Yeah. But it was like at the point I was like, it's just worth it. Let's just do it.
You got to build.
The Twitter thing for me, I just actually got back on Twitter.
Okay.
Because I bounced when that whole shit took place, when Elon Musk bought it and everybody was saying out of pocket shit. I was like, this is weird. But you're right. I can't use Twitter like I use my other platforms to share my episodes, because it don't get the same traction. So what I started doing was I just use Twitter like as my I just talk. Yeah. And I'm like, since I like talking, maybe I'll just use Twitter for that. But Facebook. The reason why I bring it up is because the shit that you gotta get hip to. What it comes down to really is like this. If you want to do something like this, you need to do research and all different. Like we were just talking about lights. You know how much research I did for the lights? Like I finally pulled the trigger, but I was YouTubing lights. I was YouTubing how to use lights. Microphones, microphone stands, fucking pops. You know what I mean? Like this dumb shit like that. Like I want it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Yeah, you gotta want it. And you got to do your research. You gotta always look to elevate, because like I look at my old videos and oh my God, I've come so far. Like and that makes you feel good too, because you're like, dang, like just everything, the way I do my thumbnails, the way I do, and I think I do everything too. And I think people don't realize like some of that too. Like you can outsource whatever, but like again, if that money ain't coming in, how you going? I can't. No, so I can't afford to pay anybody to do this, do this. I'm editing everything. I'm creating everything, and I feel like I'm getting better. Like I'm getting better. I'm getting good. And like I said, like building a resume almost, for whatever. For whatever,
It really is a resume. Yeah. Because it's a resume on display for like everybody to see.
Yeah, it's a portfolio. Yeah.
Because we could pull that shit if we wanted. But like, no. So, and the dope thing about 280 Plus is like, you said you're around 170, what episode?
110 just came out today.
Forgive me. I thought, okay, but still, like, I'm looking forward to that milestone of the 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is your 2020. You said you started
2021. So 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
I think like again, the concept. And here's something else I want to discuss with you, because your concept, the way you're doing it, is different. It's the just like anything in life, when you find something, somebody else is already doing it, but how do you go about doing it? Like somebody already interviews people.
Yes.
But how do you go about doing it? So the 280 Plus, like I said, when I saw 280 Plus, I was like, what is that?
Yeah, what is that?
But I liked 280 Plus. What does that mean? And then when I looked up, I was like, oh yeah, Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dope concept. So reinventing the wheel, like how was that process for you, coming up with the name, coming up with the concept, understanding that this isn't the first time it's been done, but you're going to do it this way?
Okay. I wanted, well, in terms of that, you know, I have a friend that I've had on the podcast a couple times, my man Levi McCurdy, and we used to work together at Radio Shack like 10, 15 years.
Radio
like,
Shack.
Yeah, that was my guy, man. We worked there a long time ago. He's a couple years younger than me, but yeah, like, so he was into content creation, whatever, and I remember I just kind of hit him up, and you know, I was just like, yo, I need help. I need ideas, whatever. I was like, I wanted to be about Twitter. I just can't think, you know, and I just kind of like, you know, I didn't want something that was too like, I don't know, like for lack of a better phrase, like hood or something like that. Like I didn't want to like just like cliche, like, yo, that's what we talk about. Like I don't know. I didn't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
I mean, because I wanted it to be like universal. Like I wanted it to be something that's like, you know, nobody shies away from it because it's to this or to that, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, just something that it has a meaning. But like, I probably need to do a better job of like, you know, like I need a newer logo or like a secondary logo that kind of brings that to life, whatever. Because yeah, like people get it once you explain it to them, but like, whatever. But like, I feel like maybe it's a good thing that there's a little bit of a mystery.
I think it is.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Because I was like, you know, I wonder, like, does it need to be more fleshed out? Do I need to change the name? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I like it.
Yeah. And the whole thing too is like when you have something like, okay, 280 plus, and you've got like this machine working behind it, and it's that lure of what does that mean? Eventually, the word 280 plus just becomes the logo in itself.
Yes.
Where nobody really sees what does that mean. They just see 280 plus and they know what it is. And that's the game plan is like, and this is where I feel like it's like this fine line of like, this is my passion and now we're making a business.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't want to get lost in the business and forget what the purpose of the fucking podcast is, but I do understand you got to market this shit.
Yes.
So like for me, like the logo, like this is me.
Yeah.
And I used to rap back in the day. So I had an album called Everything Burns, and I stood in front of a green sheet in my basement, and I took a picture of myself and then I cropped it, put it in front of fire. Long story short, 8 years later, I'm like, I'm going to use this as a logo, the Journeyman logo. Nobody knows what the fuck that is.
Okay.
But eventually this will mean something.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I keep pushing it.
Okay.
Because I went through the same thing as you, where I was like, should I change that?
Yeah,
Like, should I make it more defined? But I was like, nah, because eventually, like, all brand, all logos, eventually,
like what
they mean something.
They do.
Eventually.
They start to mean something after a while. Yeah, like what the fuck does Pepsi mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what is that thing?
What is Pepsi? Yeah, like when you think about it, like what the fuck is
It's like
a
a
Pepsi?
sail. It's like a weird sail in front of blue and red. Like a weird.
Yeah, what is a Pepsi? Like, I mean, like what does that mean? Like, no, it's just a name. And like, I think I was kind of going for that. But I ain't gonna lie to you. So you used to say with Elon, bruh, I was shook, man, because I'm like, yo, they kept talking about he was gonna increase the tweet limit, and I'm like, no, you can't fuck up my shit, bro.
No,
like,
yeah. Anyway,
so that's how I was like, man, you get shit.
That's another thing though, dog, because if they do increase the tweet limit, what would you do? Like, what would you do?
I don't fucking know. I don't know. Like, no,
well,
no, I don't.
Would you be forced to say, fuck it, I'm gonna keep it? It is 280 plus, and we're gonna take it.
Nah, I see, but the thing is, I don't know if it'd be that hard of a pivot, you know what I mean? Because you would keep your same page, it would just be you rebrand it, whatever. So, and it's funny because I watched. So there's a content creator you need to check into. I don't know, you ever heard like Nikki Saunders on Instagram? Look up Nikki Saunders.
Okay.
She gives mad tips about like content creation.
Oh, word.
And are you using any AI currently?
I'm reading up on it.
Okay,
I'm reading up on it.
Well, like if I'm not saying that she's an AI guru, but like she does the research and she finds different platforms and she's always suggesting them like, hey, like she's like a coach, you know what I mean, kind of whatever. So like, and she gives free game all the time, whatever. So like, look her, but like, it's just certain things that she's kind of like suggested. This like, oh, yo, you should probably like try to.
But what would you use AI for? Like how?
Bro,
like,
it's
like I know what I'm seeing, but like in regards to what we're doing, like.
All right, so All right, because if you gotta check out the episode 2 that I just had with my man Levi McCurdy. That was like two episodes ago. I think it was episode 108.
Oh yeah, my man with the glass. With
the white boy. White boy.
I saw y'all talking about AI.
Yeah. So he gets into whatever, and we talk a little bit about how it can utilize for content creation, but like just in the simple fact of like, all right, I put a lot of work into creating my descriptions, and they're very detailed, whatever.
Yes.
But then, you might use ChatGPT, and what I do now, what I've been doing the last couple episodes is I'll be like, all right, I'll type it in. I'm like, I'll copy and paste the description. And I say rewrite this so that it ranks higher for SEO.
What does that mean?
SEO is search engine optimization.
Jeez, I haven't even thought about that.
So that's like it's weird because that's like it's or like so it ranks higher in search, whatever. And like they they'll revise it and I'll be like, oh no, make sure you include the timestamps. And then I'll be like, because I struggle with like a YouTube title.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck am I? So I'll be like, can you based on this description, create a YouTube title, whatever for this, and then they'll, and then you can edit it, So you're like, I don't want this, I don't want that, whatever. But it's like, no, I think this is solid, whatever. So it's becoming like a personal assistant, kind of, because some people look at it in a sinister. I mean, there are obviously there's a dark side to it. Like people are using it to commit crimes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some people are worried that like the creative juices are like getting sucked out, whatever, because like rappers are they just gonna say, hey, create me a rap song, whatever. But like no, it's a threaded type thing, so like it kind of learns like based on what you kind of like and what you so it is kind of, maybe it is a little bit creepy or whatever, but I think there's certain ways that helps you. We need time. And,
bro. But the description for the episodes, I completely understand that.
Yeah,
because there's times where I'm even like, I'll go through my episodes and I'm like, fuck, I had like 2 of them in a row where I started the description the same exact way. I'm like, I'm trying to keep it like different.
Yep.
So it creates it pretty much so that Google or Bing or whatever picks it up. Certain words are picked up a lot easier.
If you say like rewrite it so it ranks higher for us.
That's interesting, bro.
So that's a good way to.
This is dope, man. I appreciate the information. I'm always intrigued by other people's processes too.
Yeah,
because I'm in my own way sometimes, and
we all are.
Yeah,
man.
You know what I mean.
Man.
Like and like you said, like you don't have an assistant. Like I don't have an assistant. I do this on my own. Yeah. But then there's times where it's like I don't know. I hate for that moment to come where I know I can get one. Cause I like things a certain way.
And that's the thing too. People say like, anytime you hear about business and entrepreneurship, it's like, well, yeah, you get to a point where you have to delegate. You have to learn how to delegate. And it's like, I don't know, bro. This is too personal.
This is my
like,
baby, yeah.
Like I don't know. If you ain't gonna make the reel the way I make it. Like you don't know how I like, know, because there's maybe a humor. There's like a pizzazz that I like kind of, and it's like you might chop that part off that I wasn't gonna chop off, something like so.
Like you gotta want it like I do, or at least get real close to it.
Exactly.
I don't know if you can have it like me, but at least get real close.
Yeah. So,
but I appreciate that, man.
No doubt, man.
Yeah. One of the things I like to discuss is the at the end of the conversation, considering everything we talked about, looking ahead, and we've already kind of seemed to already kind of go there. But what's the game plan for Los Def in the next 5 to 10 years? Are we looking at like a nationwide type of approach to the podcast?
Yeah, I think so, and that is the beauty of like YouTube and things like that, because the biggest YouTubers, where are these people from? Yeah, Mr. Beast. Do you know what this? Do you know who? Are you familiar? So Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber out there now. I only know him because of my son, and he watches all kind of crazy stuff. This guy, he I don't know how he makes all this money, but he's made a lot of money from YouTube, and like he's just giving it away on his shows, whatever. It's not even podcast, but I say that to say like he's from a small town in North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So the internet allows you to, like I said, like it doesn't matter necessarily where you're at. So, just really trying to get to a point where we are monetizing on YouTube. Obviously past that, like we're already monetizing on YouTube. Like, like maybe a studio, getting into that. Creating, again, this is like, I'm the hub, whatever. I'm the media hub. Maybe getting into some type of like marketing or marketing management or something like that. Because like just because like I have those, I feel like I have those skills or whatever. I'm cultivating those skills. So like people maybe are paying me to like come on the platform, whatever, like payola, some payola type, like like payola type stuff. So now like just something like a well-oiled machine, man, where we do have people that are I can delegate and maybe we kind of make it more formulaic to where like how that's how you franchise stuff. You know what I mean? Like
right.
you gotta create a formula, whatever. So like creating a standard, creating a formula, and like letting it run itself. And like I just get to be the talent. I get to just but I have people that's doing the scheduling. I have people that's doing the editing. Like that would be dope.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
I know that feeling very well, man.
That's the goal.
And you're right. It's kind of like I know that there's going to come a point. Like if I want to go where I want to go, I'm going to have to delegate. But I'm just like, man, like I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I'm just so like, man, like I already have like I'm so corny, bro. I already have like an interview process in my mind, like how I want to interview people, like the questions I want to ask, like do you understand? Like do you understand how important this is?
Okay,
like, like I might scare people away. Like I need you to eat and breathe this shit.
Yes.
And I'm afraid that some people are gonna be like, "This is just a part-time job." Like you're not cut out.
Yeah. I feel you. Because I don't want somebody that's just like, you do got to get people that love it just as much as you do. Like they got to believe in you almost. Like you know what I mean. You got to buy into me. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's tough, man.
You gotta keep people. You surround yourself with people that are buying into what you're doing. You try to keep the negative shit away. How do you live your life?
Well, I pretty much, I don't want to say I keep to myself, but like, no, I have, as you get older, your social circle gets smaller, whatever. So yeah, like I got my main boy, my main homies that I, rock with. If I branch out and meet new people, it's only typically in like the media space, so to speak, whatever. Because then I know like these people, they're typically like-minded. They have similar goals, and we can actually help each other. You know what I mean, on that type of level. So yeah, that's what I typically do, man. Try to spend time with my family. You know what I mean, my son. And like I said, just kind of stay out the way. I don't. Yeah, like I used to be in the mix way back in the day, and now that I'm not. Like I can go out a little bit, whatever. But like it ain't nothing. I'm not pressed typically though.
The older we get, the more. I don't know how you are, but I'm 44, so
I'm 35. I just turned 35.
So I was the same way at 35, where I was just like, it's not. I'm not trying to. It changes when you get older, bro.
Yeah, like and it's like even just like going out and stuff like that. It's not the same.
It's not.
Like it's weak. It's like I go. I'm like, this is, man. The nightlife, I feel like even 10 years ago was popping. Like what I mean. Like when I was first 21, it was just so much. I feel like it's right now. Yeah, like Central PA is going through a weird nightlife period. Like trying to find itself and. Places for Black and brown people, man, they it's a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know so many places then got shut down because violence and things like that. You know what I mean? I used to go to Dragonfly, man.
Man,
the Dragonfly was, oh my God, that was people from all over was going to the Dragonfly. Like, and I always say RIP to the Dragonfly, man, because there hasn't been a club like that since in Central PA.
I've never been, but I knew of the Dragonfly. And growing up, in my 20s and whatnot,
you would hear it on the radio.
You always heard, on the radio all the time.
Oh, yeah. It was it. Yeah. So I'm an extrovert in terms of that, but like, nah, like I like to turn up with friends and stuff like that now. Like if I'm gonna turn up, it's within good company, so to speak. Yeah,
that's why the reason I bring that up is because when you're doing something that you love doing, and it's like a matter of like who am I surrounding myself with, and it's like they're like-minded people, not so much like-minded in the field, but like, are you supportive of my process, or is your lifestyle hindering my growth just by hanging around? Like, there's a lot of people that I had to like start. Like we can't fuck around anymore, bro, because like you aren't giving me anything, and
I feel like I'm yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
No, but go ahead.
No, I'm saying I feel like I'm past that phase.
Okay,
like where
there
like
you go.
I haven't had to like phase anybody out because of that. Like
okay, there you go.
The people that are in my life
that's good because when you have to go through that, it kind of sucks a little bit because there's a lot of people. Now I haven't had to go through an extreme experience of it, but because I'm an introvert, so it's not that hard for me. Yeah.
I'm staying home, man. Like I don't know if
like you've been staying home for fucking 20 years. Yeah. Like, that's just how it is. No, but there's times where like I was like, I had to make a decision. Like I need to either let them know how I feel and make amends, and because they were worth it for me.
Yeah.
Or I just completely just cut them off because I'm trying to establish something in my life.
Yeah.
And so like going through our conversation, I was just wondering if you had that same like experience, but it sounds like you've got a good solid group of people.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like I think some of that kind of changed like when I started my career, you know what I mean? Like it was easy to kind of like, not shade people out, but like it was easy to kind of like, because I did just care about my family and going to work, come home every day, things like that. So yeah, I think that is long gone. But like I am meeting new people, but like it's easy. Yeah, when you're older, it's easy to like create boundaries. Like when you're young, you want everybody like you. You want everybody like you. You know what I mean? Like but like when you're older, you're like, we can, it's okay.
Like what's on your agenda with me?
Yeah. It's like, all right, we're just gonna keep you at arm's length for your business. You're an associate. Everybody's not my friend. You know what I mean? Everybody, I understand that.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't your friends. So
yeah, I was jealous to be a little like I don't got friends. I got family.
There you go. Yeah.
And I'm like I could appreciate that, but there's some people that I'm cool with, but I can't call them family.
Nah, yeah.
Friends or I do say the acquaintance. They're acquaintances of mine, but yeah. Yeah. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate this conversation.
Yeah,
man.
I appreciate it too, man. Thanks for having me, man.
This was probably not a challenging one for me, but it was keeping me on my toes because I couldn't find anything on you. But now that I know why, now that I've explained, I was vulnerable where I explained my process in some ways. How did I seem like I was engaging with you in the conversation?
Yeah, like I'm surprised, like just based off of like not. I guess you did a little bit of research, whatever. But that's just because we probably interacted a little bit. Yeah. But like, I felt like it was natural because I was wondering. I'm like, damn, what are we gonna talk about? And I was gonna prime you like a little bit, like, there's this I don't want to talk about. But I was like, I didn't know we were already recording, so I was like, we just gonna play it up.
It's all good.
Yeah. But and that's the thing too, though. Like that's a skill too that I learned that like. Yeah, I know what not to say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things like that. So I was like, all right, we gonna broach it, you know what I mean? But like I'm not gonna say nothing,
right.
And I feel good. Like
I followed suit. I caught, you know what I mean? I saw the assignment, I was reading it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But yeah, I was looking forward to this too because like I said, just like learning from you, man, and because I see you're doing the in person every week, type thing, and I'm like, dang, like he has to, like, what kind of setup does this guy have, and I'm like, dang, and I see the lights, and I'm like, all right, so this is what this is what I might need to invest in, and open it up a little bit more, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing too, bro, is like you get to that point where you're like, okay, fuck it, I just got it. Fuck it, I'll do it. I'll make the investment. Yep. I'll upgrade. And then
I just had to buy a new laptop, bro. Like I missed a week a couple weeks ago, and because my fucking laptop died, bro.
Oh man, so you had to.
Yeah, I had to. Like I had to, and I was like, but it was good because I had reels and I had content from I had stuff I could make reels from older episodes. But yeah, like I missed a week 2 weeks ago because.
Did you have shit on your laptop that you lost?
No, I keep everything on a hard drive, and it was a Surface little laptop. It was a small one, so the hard drive wasn't that big anyway. So like I knew there wasn't nothing on there.
Cool.
But I can't edit. I can't do my process. So I was like, damn, like it wouldn't boot up. My laptop wouldn't boot up. So I just had to invest. You know what I mean? I got a Best Buy card. So like, we're gonna stretch that out a little bit, but we but we good though.
You gotta do what you gotta do. It's all about the end game, bro. It's all about the end game. Yep. All right, Los Def 280+. Thank you, brother.
No doubt, Felix, man. I appreciate you, brother.
That's it. Los Def, brother. Thank you once again for stopping by. chopping it up. It was great, man. I had a lot of laughs. I learned a lot. I look forward to watching your podcast grow, and keep grinding. Consistency is important in the podcast game. And even though we talked about seasons and how I like to implement that, I still understand the desire to want to be consistent. My hat off to you, brother. I wish you nothing but luck. Keep grinding, keep doing your thing. 280 Plus is the podcast. Y'all can check it out on all platforms and YouTube. Remember, we're on YouTube. Don't forget us out there, people. All right, Los Def, peace, much love and respect. As for the rest of you, we are now down to the last episode of season 2. And trust me when I tell you, the conversation I had with Fran Rodriguez was probably the most fulfilling, deepest conversations I've ever had on this podcast. It's everything I've ever wanted in a conversation right here for the season 2 finale. I cannot wait to share that with you all. But until then, please remember to maintain focus and stay continuous through all 4 seasons. My name is Felix C. Arroyo, and these are the Journeyman Chronicles. Y'all be safe.